are now down to item 13. Resolution authorizing a consultant contract with Chunk Consulting Services for photogrammetry training and equipment.
Madam President, thank you very much. This item, which is not all that exciting to you all, is probably the most cost-effective thing we do in transportation. And it's probably the safest thing we do in transportation as well. Let me just take a minute to explain this to you. When a police officer comes on the scene of an accident, we have a whole method to maintain and preserve his safety of first responders when they're on a freeway, have them be police or fire. The most dangerous place a first responder can be is on the freeway, not in their other activities as a police officer. The second thing that happens, and we drill this through in freeway management that Natalie and I and police and fire teach, is there's going to be, if you're not in and out of there really fast, there's a good chance there's going to be an upstream rear-end collision that may be more severe than the accident in which you are dealing with. So there's a command and control situation, a safety push, and get out of the border as quickly as possible. This particular technology, photogrammetry, is a way to use a camera with monuments on the ground to take a picture, and instead of recreating the accident in the scene, exposing the safety of that person and the general public, they recreate the accident in the safety of their office back at the police station. This obviously reduces the duration of the incident, reduces rear-end collisions, and maintains that safety. Police officers have to go through 5 days worth of training to do that. This is a turnkey capability of both the purchase of the equipment. It has been used for several years. Police departments love it. The demand is increasing. We have committed for their safety and increase the reliability of the freeway system to make sure we meet 100% of the demand that the police needs to recreate these incidents back in their offices. So we went back out for procurement. We only received one bid. This is the bid from the Chunk Consulting Services. It is a turnkey $350,000 to provide the equipment and the cameras and the software to continue to provide this capability to our police officers in the region. They have provided this service in the past. This is a very specialized industry. There are other folks that develop other technologies that perform this function. But this was the one that did the procedure. We're very comfortable with the pricing strategy. Natalie teaches the freeway management class to police chiefs, fire chiefs, local elected officials, the coroner's office, towing companies, and we push this technology very, very hard in each of those particular classes. So with that, Madam President, I'll stop and request approval of these particular initiatives. We are using congestion mitigation air quality funds as the main funding source.
Are you providing the equipment to the PDs?
Yes.
And they don't want to fund it?
I'm sorry?
The cities don't want to fund this?
We don't get into the mechanics of how all that works and how they do their budgets. Some cities, I'm sure, are funding it directly. Some cities may not have the money to fund it. But for the most this is the most cost-effective thing we can do in transportation. So we take this on, even if their city, even if they're not able to get these resources from their own city.
I'd like to see the cities that are funding it themselves and the cities that are choosing not to fund it themselves.
We'll be happy. We'll go survey that.
Mike, you talked about the safety and secondary collisions that occur, but do we still have a feel for the outcomes of this and for what it does to reduce congestion during the peak hours? Of course, how that relates to air quality.
Yeah, so they have to use the equipment. They have to give us reports and make sure they're using it. If they're not using it, the equipment comes back. Natalie has one set of definitions for the whole region. So, response time and clearing time are now all measured exactly the same. The Regional Transportation Council is extremely aggressive in this particular situation. For folks to get funds, they have to adopt the regional definitions. They have to measure their performance. You can't compare your performance across police departments on response times because they're all different, but you can measure your own performance over time. And these performance measures, and why we know this was the most cost-effective thing we can do in transportation is we measure the increase in reliability, the reduction in congestion hours, tons of emissions.
Those outcomes,
That's how we know that this should be funded right off the top. And it's $350,000 for several years versus $270 million for one interchange.
I'm not speaking, I will make sure I'm correct in saying that in the peak hours, the congestion we experience is really influenced by a breakdown or by an accident.
But it wouldn't be just in the peak hours.
And not just in the peak, but I mean,
if you have an incident, and you're coming home from Austin at 7 o'clock at night, and that police officer is out there for an hour, you could have a zillion cars backed up in Interstate 35 or US 75 for a long period of time. So it isn't just the peak period, but we measure the reduced delay with and without this technology and know how cost effective it is.
I think the judge makes an point. We'll certainly get that for you. I also look at this. First, that's not correct. It's part of a demonstration project. If they can get enough people using this and the word gets out, then you'll have other departments that do want to get this done. And then at some point, we wouldn't have the funds to pay for it. But now, hope to see it as a real productive thing for them to have.
And we're having really great conversations between, say, police and sheriff departments. For example, in Dallas County, the city is moving a lot of their police off the freeway system. So they're not purchasing this equipment because they're going to go fight crime. And then we're contracting with county sheriffs to be the managers of the freeway system. So they are the users of this particular technology because we got about 8 freeways where we're testing sheriffs to be the first responders and leave the city officers fighting the crime. So you might have, a data point that says Dallas isn't buying it, but that may be true for 8 quarters of which the Dallas County Sheriff's Department is now implementing those particular services. So there's a lot of partnerships and communication that is occurring between cities and counties as we continue to pilot technologies, grow and mature what's the best way to manage this part of the system. Half of the delay you experience is not due to the construction or lack of not having enough lanes. 50% of the delay is due to an incident and accident, which is cost-effective strategies on this side of the equation.
Well, I think, Judge, I know you had no comment. I was just going to make a comment on your comment. I think what you're asking is not the effectiveness of the program.
No, I'm asking how we're doing this. Are you going around city councils, first of all, and how do the police departments request this? Because is it a push system down to the police departments, or are they asking for it? And I really am interested in who's getting this $350,000, because if I heard you right, and I might not have, there are cities that are doing this on their own. And there are police departments that for some reason, one reason or another, are not getting this on their own. So we are providing it to them. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you what the next batch of 350 will be, but I can tell you what the last batch of 350 was. So we'll go survey who those particular cities are. But when we meet with the mayors and the city council and the commissioners and the police chiefs and the fire chiefs, we say 50% of the delay is due to incidents and accidents. And if you can't get technology through your city council to improve, like, for example, photogrammetry, it is the most cost-effective thing we can do in transportation. I don't think we're pushing the technology where the cities would simply do it for themselves, because if you remember in the 2008 through 2012 time time frame. We had lots of cities not being able to get to a lot of the things that they wish to. But we can find out what cities are using it, and we'll also find out what cities are using photogrammetry or something else, not through us. And it'll be interesting to see what those differences would be, and I think the question is a very good one. And I think translating, let's make sure we're not funding things that could easily be funded directly within their own community.
And while we're still a region, the city of Hearst may end up needing one because a citizen from McKinney got in an accident in the city of Hearst. So, I mean, we need to have them, and it's one of those things where some of the cities may be able to afford it, and some of them may not.
And a lot of cities.
Just wait a minute. If the cities are choosing not to buy it, they've got other things on their priority. Why would this region buy
This
it
region
for
is
them?
trying to move people, and sometimes the priorities of a city may not be the priorities of the entire region, and because they happen to have a freeway go through them doesn't mean that that city should be able to slow up the whole region.
Wow.
Wow.
Judge, that should not be, to override our city should
It's
not
a
be.
federal road, Judge,
The rule,
that they may not even be monitoring.
this COG should not be overriding city councils and providing equipment to their police departments.
My guess is if the city does not want that equipment, the police departments aren't requesting it, because the city manager normally will not let that happen.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, Judge Huff, we do know that a lot of cities look at the amount of police that has to respond to a freeway system. A lot of cities are saying that's like an unfunded mandate.
I understand your argument, Michael, but we don't know which cities have got it. We're throwing terms around like a highway's going through a city. I don't know which cities have them. I don't know which cities are using them. I don't know which cities you plan to give them to. This is a very generic action.
I'm going to get that information for you, and I apologize I don't have it. Can I at least speak to the principle? The principle is there are a lot of cities, and we know this firsthand. Why should my city have to pay for this equipment to be on TxDOT's roadway when TxDOT is not paying us any money to police and service that particular freeway?
You have not defined this as a highway function.
This is only on highways. I'm sorry.
You have defined this as cities.
I'm sorry. This is equipment to cities to respond to incidents on the freeway system. Photogrammetry equipment works on the freeway system.
So my question is, you provide this to a city. Do they have a department in the police department, like traffic control, that just has this equipment, and when they have an accident, does that one person or department go out and do this? Because obviously every patrol officer can't carry this equipment.
So it is not uncommon for police departments to have police specialty that respond to incidents on freeways. And this particular equipment goes to often a sergeant or someone who's piloting it, who goes on the freeway. It's their responsibility. And then they take it back and say, this is helping us for the following reasons. It reduces man hours on the freeway and so on and so forth. And then they will either go buy more equipment themselves, or when we have a call for projects, they'll come out and ask for more of that particular equipment. But not every police officer is assigned the responsibility of traffic control on the freeway system.
So are we looking at it wrong? I mean, you have patrols right now that go out and help people with a flat tire or a broken down car.
We have mobility assistance. We have mobility assistance patrols.
Right.
They get people off the freeway system because when you're broken down, it's the work the safety system away. They are not the ones with the photogrammetry.
I understand that, but so can you have the same kind of system set up for this system that provides it to multiple cities or a region instead of just looking at police departments to do this, because these people come to these slow down spots where a car is broken down. It slows down as much as an accident when a car is broken down on the side of the road. And so Can't this be a region-wide thing where you have an agency that just does this for the police department? They just call them and say, show up and take our pictures and...
Let me separate it. We do have a region-wide program for mobility assistance patrols. They respond to people who break down on the shoulders or an active lane and get them off as safely as possible. And under our home rule statutes, cities, in unincorporated areas, counties, now cities and counties getting into memorandum of understanding, a certified police officer has to be the person in control of an accident under state law, not a mobility assistance crew. And because we're trying to get there in and out as quickly as possible, we don't have a third-party technology team that's there. The police officer whose job is to respond to incidents, that equipment resides with their particular vehicle. Now, if they need cones and other things that they can't carry enough of, because any incident over 30 minutes requires the coning off in other facilities, we have people with equipment to respond to that, and those cones and everything are shared. But the equipment to get in and out of an incident resides with the police team that responds to accidents on the freeway system, have they be city or sheriff person.
So we need to look at changing the way the legal system reads on this matter then. To solve this problem, if you want to keep traffic moving, the cheapest way is to have this technology, and we need to get rid of the laws that are impeding it, because you need some kind of agency that's certified to do this, as well as the police department, that go to an accident scene and do it for that police department. And everybody chime into the system, pay their fair share of use, instead of having every police department buy this system.
If transportation had more money, which it doesn't, it barely can maintain the transportation system we have, probably can't, given now the $1 billion shortfall in maintenance in Texas every year. You could do it like NTTA, where they hire the Department of Public Safety, and the Department of Public Safety manages their toll road system. Now, cities also can go out on the toll road system, but in transportation, we don't have the type of money to be able to hire, since you have to be a certified police officer, and I don't think that's going to change. We don't have the type of money to hire 500 Department of Public Safety people to manage the system. The Department of Public Safety is already into transportation at about $850 million a year in Fund 6. So right now, that responsibility under current law sits with the cities and or the counties, depending on how they wish to do it. And we're trying the best we can to reduce their exposure and reduce the delay due to incidents on this particular system.
Question, would it put a big kink in it if we continued this for a month and let you bring back the answers to what the procurement process is, in other words, how do people apply for this? How's the decision made if they're going to get it, and then compare and contrast who's paying for it?
No, I don't think that would hurt anything at all. I obviously don't know where the new $350,000 is going, because those requests come in a continuous revolving. But we've done this before, and we'll find out how much money we've spent, and be more than happy to tell you what cities they have participated, and do a survey of cities, what equipment they use, if they don't go through us, how much they're using it. My suspicion is they're not using it, and we're bringing best practices and technology transfer to the region, and this will slowly catch on, hopefully as a more mainstream function. That's typically the role the RTC plays. But until I do the survey, I won't be able to give you those.
Well, that would be my motion to continue for one.
I have one question. What is the cost per police department? You have any idea for one system? For this one sergeant to carry around?
Natalie, do you know offhand?
$5,000 per officer.
$5,000 per car.
That's it?
Yes.
It probably pays for it. This equipment probably pays for itself in the first 30 minutes of an accident.
No kidding.
Well, okay, so I think is that in form of a motion to table until we'll just table the issue? Okay, I would agree. The only thing I would say is I would hate to put another authoritative, going through the legislature to set up a system or a group of people that would come that you would call.
Well, I understand why, you know.
And it's just not, I wouldn't think we need another layer if we have a uniformed officer, so I would agree with Michael.
I mean, if you had $5,000, multiple people could get in this business and make that $2,000. I mean, look at the GoPro camera, you know, I mean.
And we're talking about 70 systems at 5,000 apiece. We've already done at least one round of this, so we've got 140 of these systems. I mean, that's what we're eventually looking at. That's a different issue.
I think we'll bring this information back to you. I did want to say one thing. Many cities that the city council has told their police department, we don't want you to have this. Yet we said, well, we're going to give it to you anyhow. And that's the part I took a little bit of a sense that we're overriding local councils in their decisions. We have two things that occur. One is just, it seems like, well, it's a great way to save money, but sometimes you have to spend money to save money, and finding that extra money to try to get to a point where you can save instead of going for an apartment. But to be quite honest with you, and I've lived with it for a good part of my career, police officers, firefighters are not really good about clearing accidents and about trying to limit the number of lanes in which they block off traffic, and how long it takes them sometimes is a badge of authority that I backtrack up 5 miles, and I get out back up to 7 miles. So we're also trying to overcome that by building safety into this and respecting the fact that we've got people who are exposing themselves to these situations. And this is just one tool that we can use to help that, but it truly is a matter of we're not going to outbuild our population of highways. How do we get the most efficiency out of the highways we have, and knowing that this piece of equipment can accomplish that. So, as I said, I don't know we'll ever get where we're the only ones doing this, but just breaking through that barrier of clear this thing faster and we can still be safe and do it is part of what all this is about.
I think, Judge.
You just covered it. Our officers like it because it clears the accidents faster and it gets the first responders off the roads faster. The baby boomer officers sometimes don't like it, but if you get a young, more tech-savvy officer to do the job, and everybody's happy.
Okay.
We'll bring it back next year.
So is there going to be a vote or something?
No.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Michael.
Appreciate it.